going to talk to you today about automation. If you work at a job that requires you to do one thing and one thing well, one day you will be replaced by a robot or artificial intelligence device. If you are a generalist and not a specialist, if you do a lot of things and understand how they coalesce together, then you will be irreplaceable. If you allow your intelligence to be the vanguard of your wealth build, and not your hands, but your mind, then you will be irreplaceable. You will be future-proofed. Excuse me. If you allow yourself to believe the lie of yesteryear, go to school, get good grades, then you can get a good job, and then you can get into a good company where they'll work you, and then you'll get a pension, and then you can retire and live out your golden years. If you believe that lie, then you are, buddy, you've got to wake up. You have to wake up. Realize that thing is dead. That entire thing died around the time I was born, and I'm 50-something. 71, when Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard. In 73, when the ERISA Act came through, money changed, and it was slow to catch on, but people still thought, I just go to school. I'll just go to school, and then I'll go to a beggar school and get more letters behind my name. That is the way of the past. Teachers are gone. What is left are people like me, value creators. I can tell you something today that didn't exist a month ago, and it will be so long before that thing even gets into a textbook at a desk, and the teacher's teaching on it. By the time it's there, it's already outdated because the thing that I learned is now been changed, right? If I were to write a textbook a year ago about artificial intelligence, stable diffusion, art creation, visual art creation, it would have been outdated 1 month, 2 months. Right now, 1 year later, bam, gone. So you can't tell me that it's smart to go to school, get good grades, go to a higher education, university somewhere, get some letters after your name, and then get a good job. Because guess what? You can ask anybody who's been doing that, and they cannot find a job. What is the value of all labor? To solve something as a problem for someone else, right? That is your problem or someone else's problem. If you want to make it really rich, find a bunch of rich people, find out what their problems are, and then go solve their problems. That's what I'm saying. That's where wealth is. You want to go ahead, you want to go to school, you want to do the thing. I'm a CNC operator. Okay, if I was a CNC operator, I would do very well. At the same time, I would start learning software. I would start learning the logistics of the flow of the building that I worked in, how the items got to me, if it's 3D printing and CNC work, if it's machining and doing something very, very, very detailed and in minutia, and the instantiation has to be perfect, right? I would find out the entire system. I wouldn't just learn that machine and that thing and that one thing, because only that one company needs that one thing, and it can be flat out done away with. You can be replaced. Guess what? Robots don't have sick days, right? So as a generalist, what I've been doing, I've been working at a factory, and I have been trained in I think now 11 jobs. 11 jobs in this factory in 6 different areas. And guess what? I'm learning how to, so if I need a part, I can go ask the person in charge of those parts, or the guy who runs the parts around on the little trolleys, or ask the guy who in the other group does the other part thing, or I just know what the part is. I'm just going to go get it. Hey, I took this part. Okay. If I need to take something back over there, ask this guy, hey, I need paint on this, or hey, I need this replaced, or this weld is wrong. I know how the whole thing works now. Well, not the whole thing, come on. I know how a lot more of it works than I did yesterday. And I'm a generalist in factory logistics now. I'm learning. I still know a lot less than I knew, than I'll know in a year from now, but I'm learning. So, but if I just sat at my one job and just did the one job, I tell my Spanish people, the folks that I work with, a lot of them are from Venezuela. I say, mi propósito, my purpose, en mi vida, in my life, a mi trabajo, at my job, es ayuda, is to help todo personas, todo mi amigos, todo mi muchachos, all of my comrades, all of my friends, right, is to help. So the purpose of my life here at my job is to help all my friends. And I tell them that. And they're like, they smile and they don't believe me, but when I'm actually behind them, put together a tiny piece of assembly that they have to put on something else that goes to something else so that the next guy can do the thing, they're like, oh, Pablito, gracias, Pablito. One of the groups that I left, they every time they see me, they call out, Pablito, familia! So my name is Pauly Family to them, because what did I do over there? I helped every single person. 2 of them are left, are gone, and new ones have come, but still the core remains, and they call me Pauly Familia. That's my new last name over there, and that's wonderful. But it's just the fact that I was helping, and I learned all of their processes. Well, not all. There's a couple that I didn't really get a handle on because I didn't spend too much time over there, but I know the generalized process, and I know where the parts come from and where they go and where it's going. So I can, write it on the board and take it over there if I need to, which I did on Friday. And I was working on a new part that only one person know, only one other person, only 2 other people know, and they were busy. And actually one was gone. So I was the guy. I told my group lead, I said, you know what, I'm going to go put this part together. I've got the SOP pages right here. I'll do it. And that day, it took me all day to make 2. And that's fine. Because guess what? How much money that is compared to how much money I make. They still got a great deal. It could take me 2 weeks to make one piece and I'd still make money on it. So the point is that I have struggled and strived to get out of my comfort zone and put myself into a place to where I know nothing. And I strive to learn more of that nothing. And once I get to that point where I know more, then I'm going to just perfect that. Because there's people there that say they have 20 years of forklift experience. I don't think so. I think you have 2 weeks of forklift experience, and you've been, perfecting those 2 weeks for 19 years and 11 months and 2 weeks. That's what I think. Your experience, you don't know. I mean, come on, no. So that was the interesting thing. It's leverage over labor every time. So the more you know, the more you realize you don't know. And the more you realize you don't know, the more you realize that you are at a loss for a lot of things in life. So you keep on learning, you absorb. Your sponge becomes bigger. So the more you suck up, as your mind sponge sucks up information, the more it can suck up, the more neural links are created, the more memory you have the capacity to have. Now that's, there's no science that I have in front of my hands to prove that, but I sure don't agree with Sherlock Holmes. Arthur Conan Doyle wrote in, I think, A Study in Scarlet, which is his first novel, when Watson meets Holmes and they're talking. Watson says something about the solar system, and Holmes says, what deuce is it to me? What revolves around what? I don't care. So Watson was flabbergasted, blown away, perplexed, and bedazzled by the fact that Holmes didn't know anything about astronomy. But he knew like 30 different types of clay around London, which, because it was pertinent to his job. So now I don't agree with Arthur Conan Doyle's assessment of the mind, that the mind is a little closet, that the mind is an attic. What does this dude do? What do you want? Go away, Florida man. Shoot. He's just, I don't know what he's doing, being a poop head. People from Florida, where do they come from? Where do they go? No one knows. Oh, he's probably going to get behind me. I don't even know what he's doing. He's drunk. He's drunk. It's Saturday. Well, early Sunday morning. It's 5:27 in the morning. And I just left job number, what is that? Job 5. I left job number 5, which is a maintenance technician at a fast food establishment. I work on the Taylor machines. Last night, or moments ago, I cleaned the ice machines. I just put a post on my Instagram, the Entrepreneur's Ice Bucket Challenge. But I was thinking, I just got to thinking about what it is to be a generalist versus a specialist. Go away. Shoot. So, drunk people from Florida aside, I think I've had my mind blown, and I think it's God. I really think God speaks to me about what people are doing today versus what they did yesterday, and you think about the way things happened in olden times when they apprenticed and got to know the thing. They needed specialists back then. The blacksmith couldn't go out there and be a cooper. The cooper couldn't go out there and be a baker. So you needed a blacksmith to do the blacksmith thing. And that's why they had apprentices. And I still agree that that's good. You should be a specialist in a couple of different vague areas, right? But then you have to become a generalist and know how it all connects together. Being a specialist is good for a paycheck. Being a generalist is good for wealth creation. You're going to make a lot more wealth as a generalist than you are a specialist. Because when your job comes, look at the tiller, right? Or the disker in farming. Those are like, replacing people. When you think about farmers, we used to be like 90% farmers, an agrarian society, and now we're less than 10% farmers because machines have taken over a lot of the work. Well, what has that allowed us to do? Apply our minds towards medicine, computers, etc. Airlines, whatever, aeronautics. It does all the things that we're doing now instead of farming. So there is the need to be a specialist because you could do the thing really well, right? Like an artist is a specialist, like a visual artist who is like a pinstriper for classic cars. Like he can pinstripe, or a tattoo artist, or a piercer. Well, I don't really think maybe piercers aren't that talented. Anyway, but I'm sorry if you're a piercer. But a tattoo artist has to be more diverse than a piercer. A piercer is a very, very specific specialist, and a tattoo artist is more of a specific generalist. Well, you know what? He's a specialist, but he has a very, very broad range of artistic flair that he can utilize. So, but think about the owner of the building that those people work in. The owner of the building has to know all the things, and so as we grow up the ladder, the landlord has to become a plumber. Has to become, eventually he was a plumber. Now he's, servicing that out to people like me. Independent contractors or entrepreneurs who are hustling out there and getting it done. But a farmer today has to be a generalist. His speciality, his field is farming, but his entire life is generalism, because he has to know about rocks and raccoons and rutabaga and rats. He's got to know a whole bunch of things that not a lot of us are going to have to deal with every day. He deals with them all the time, every day, all day long. And there's 4 different lives inside the farmer's life. You have each season. Each season has its own complications, its own predictabilities, but then its own challenges as well. So you have like this uber generalist who knows so much. Probably why you can take a farmer and stick him in anywhere and he could probably survive quicker than anybody else. I would take an Indiana corn farmer over Bear Grylls in a survival situation. I really would. Probably because Bear is probably too hard to book. It's expensive. But I'm just saying. Bushmasters, yeah, these guys are also generalists. I got to thinking about it. Now I had to take that back. All right, you take a dude out of boot camp, and he's gone on bivouac. He's done some bushcrafting. He's gone, maybe he's in the SAS, right? Maybe he's elite, but I'm still going to take a farmer because he's going to know more. Like an old school, like an Amish farmer. Yeah, that's what I want. I want to go on a survival trip with an Amish farmer. Oh, wow. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little chat. Probably going to put it in Polly Drives in Cars in my new playlist. I'm reworking my YouTube sphere. It is getting to be fun. I didn't really know what YouTube was, and I would look at people saying, I'm like, why are they doing that on YouTube? And I figured it out. Oh, YouTube is about value. If I'm giving you value, and then like the click-through rate, like I retain you to the very end of this video. If you're still here and you watch the whole thing, go to polyheart.com, go to the upper right-hand corner, and click on that link there. It says, let go of being stupid. Gain wisdom to change your future, to modify your future. Because when you have to grab something, you have to let go of something else to grab it. You really do. You know, let go of being stupid and grasp wisdom to change your future. So that's what we're doing. That's the book I'm working on. And stuff like this, what I just said, is going to be in that book. Hashtag let go stupid. Hashtag let go book. I think I just bought the website, letgostupid.com. God bless you. Be in peace. And be blessed and not stressed. This is Polyheart signing off.